Welcome back to another explainer. I am so thrilled you're here today. We are going to be unraveling a high-stakes mystery surrounding our digital security. We're talking about a heist that's happening right under our noses, fundamentally changing how we think about protecting our most sensitive information. This is the epic battle between classical cryptography and the upcoming wave of post-quantum cryptography. Okay, let's dive right into this. What if the secure data you're sending today is already being stolen, just so it can be read tomorrow? I know, it sounds a bit like science fiction, right? But this provocative question is the seed for a very real, very urgent threat known as harvest now, decrypt later. And it completely flips our traditional understanding of digital privacy on its head. Here is our roadmap for today. 1. The classical security standard. 2. The quantum computing threat. 3. Shor, Grover, and vulnerabilities. 4. Harvest now, decrypt later. 5. The post-quantum solution. 6. Ready for the quantum era? Don't worry, by the end of this explainer, you'll see exactly how post-quantum cryptography is riding to the rescue. Section 1. The classical security standard, the digital vault. Before we get into the threats, we've got to establish trust in the mathematical vaults we're using right now to protect our online lives every single day. Let's say you're checking your bank account online. That data is likely locked up by something called RSA 2048. You generate a transaction request, that data gets encrypted using the bank's public RSA key, and then it's transmitted securely over the internet. To anyone intercepting it, it's just total gibberish. Finally, it's decrypted securely by the bank's private RSA key. Right now, breaking that lock requires factoring incredibly large integers. For today's conventional computers, that task would take, literally, millions of years. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why our data has been so safe up until now. Our current uncrackable vaults, systems like RSA and ECC, rely entirely on incredibly tough mathematical hardness problems. RSA leans on integer factorization, while ECC uses the elliptic curve discrete logarithm problem. Traditional computers just can't solve these efficiently. They are the absolute bedrock of secure communication across the internet. Section 2. The quantum computing threat, a new kind of lockpick. But, technology never stands still. So, will today's cryptographic systems remain secure tomorrow? That's the urgent caution we have to address right now. Quantum computers aren't just faster versions of the laptops we use today. No, they represent a completely new computational paradigm. They are essentially a revolutionary, high-powered drill built specifically to bust open those digital vaults we were just talking about. Section 3. Shor, Grover, and vulnerabilities. The quantum keys. Let's take a closer look at how this new drill actually operates. The really big one to know is Shor's algorithm, which was introduced by Peter Shor back in 1994. A fault-tolerant quantum computer running this specific algorithm can efficiently solve those exact integer factorization and discrete logarithm problems we just discussed. So, in plain English, it completely breaks RSA, Diffie-Hellman, and ECC. It can theoretically recover a private key, turning millions of years of classical computing work into just a few minutes. Then we have Grover's algorithm. Now, Grover's doesn't completely shatter symmetric cryptography like AES in the same way Shor's destroys RSA. But what it does is accelerate brute force search operations, which effectively reduces the security level of those cryptographic keys and severely weakens them. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the exact math of how Grover's impacts us. If you're using AES 128, under Grover's algorithm, your effective security drops all the way down to about 64-bit security. And AES 256, that drops to 128-bit. This clearly shows why we're going to need much, much larger key sizes in a quantum environment just to maintain the adequate security we totally take for granted today. Section 4. Harvest now, decrypt later. The present-day heist. This brings the tension to its absolute peak. Why? Because this isn't just some sci-fi threat for the year 2035. This is the present-day, harvest now, decrypt later strategy. Adversaries are actively collecting encrypted data today, just scooping it up as it travels across the internet, and storing it in these massive digital warehouses for future use. Sure, it's safe right now, but they're incredibly patient. The information is just sitting there, waiting to be decrypted once those powerful quantum computers finally become available. Think of it like this. Thieves are stealing heavily locked safes today, dragging them back to their hideout, perfectly content to wait because they know they're going to have the ultimate drill to open them tomorrow. So the crucial point is understanding exactly what's inside those stolen safes. We're talking about government records, healthcare information, financial transactions, military communications, and massive amounts of intellectual property. Basically, any data that requires long-term confidentiality is at massive risk right now due to this harvesting strategy. If your secrets need to stay a secret for the next 10 to 20 years, honestly, they're already in danger. Section 5. The post-quantum solution, the lattice vault. Okay, let's relieve some of that tension, shall we? Because thankfully, the cybersecurity world hasn't just been sitting around twiddling their thumbs waiting for this quantum drill to arrive. They've been hard at work developing robust, future-proof solutions. Enter post-quantum cryptography, or PQC. These are cryptographic systems designed from the ground up to resist attacks from both classical and quantum computers. Essentially, we're fighting math with new math. Instead of relying on factorization, PQC often shifts to incredibly complex lattice problems to secure our communications. It's an entirely new mathematical foundation. Let's compare the old guard with the new guard, RSA versus Kyber, which is a PQC standard. While RSA uses integer factorization and has literally zero quantum resistance, Kyber uses something called module learning with errors, which is a form of lattice-based cryptography, and it is fully quantum resistant. But here's the absolute best part. Kyber isn't just a heavier, clunkier lock. It's actually faster and uses smaller, more efficient key sizes for key encapsulation compared to RSA. It's a massive upgrade in almost every way. Let's move to the next standard and see how this builds into digital signatures. Here we're comparing ECC against dilithium. ECC relies on elliptic curves and, again, has no quantum resistance. In fact, it's now considered legacy technology by standard-setting organizations like NIST. Dilithium, on the other hand, is built on that robust lattice-based cryptography, it's fully quantum resistant, and it is the recommended PQC standard that will be replacing ECC moving forward. Section 6. Ready for the quantum era? Future-proofing our data. We've seen the threat, and now we've seen the solution. The focus now is completely on the immediate action required by organizations worldwide. Because here's the thing, the quantum threat does not imply that RSA is currently broken. It emphasizes the need for proactive migration. I definitely want to reassure you, your bank accounts aren't currently hacked. RSA is still holding strong today, but the transition to PQC absolutely must happen right now. Because of that harvest now, decrypt later strategy we talked about, migrating proactively is quite literally the only way to prevent cryptographic obsolescence before these quantum computers fully come online. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Are we ready for the quantum era? The math is ready, the standards are actively being set, but the actual migration, well, that's up to us, our institutions, and the broader tech world at large. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope you walk away with a much clearer picture of this quantum heist and the incredible post-quantum solutions stepping up to stop it. Take a moment to ponder the security of your own digital footprint, and I'll catch you next time.